Hey everyone. Good morning. It's okay. Teddy Bear says hello. Good morning everyone. How are you? It's Rita from Miss Rita to the Rescue, and we're here for today's Cricket Chat, which airs Monday through Friday, as you know. Monday through Friday here on Facebook at 9 o'clock Eastern Time every day, and then Saturdays for date night. We had kind of an interesting weekend, and I have to say that although I thought about today, I'm not super prepared. Yesterday was very busy, and so I didn't have my normal preparation time, so I hope you'll bear with me for today. But I promise that we'll have a great show, and we're going to do some viewer mail. I'm also going to show you some things I got in the mail from various sources, including some magnets and some heat embossing equipment. I guess it's equipment. So we're going to try to incorporate that. Not too much doing. Also, we're going to talk about these big blankets because I posted yesterday, in case you didn't see, I posted yesterday that I taught a class on Saturday night downtown, and we were making these, you make them with your hands, you don't use any knitting needles or crochets. Thanks. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Perlita. So on Saturday night, I went down, and boy, it was a long class, but it was a very nice group. And I showed them, I had just learned myself, but I showed them how to make these big chunky blankets. And we had a great time, and it sort of made me think, good morning, Bren, how are you? So it made me think, gee, I wonder if people would like to learn how to do this. And it's really not difficult at all. So if you have no experience at all with knitting or crocheting, but you really like the look of this blanket, I will do a show on it. I placed an order for some yarn. I should be getting it in a couple of days. This is the yarn that you're going to use. So if you want to follow along, and you happen to either be shopping on Michaels.com, I will post a link. It's right now on sale. It's $10 a skein, and you need 4 skeins. However, if you buy one, you get the second skein 50% off. So if you buy 4, which is what you need, a minimum of 4, it costs just under $30. Plus tax. And if you have it shipped to you, if you have a minimum order or something like that, you get free shipping, or you can just go to the store. Oh, you couldn't find us? Oh, well, you did now. That's great. So as far as the big blankets go, I'll probably be covering it later in the week when my shipment of yarn comes in, but it's so easy, and it will be a fun show. I'll show you, and I'll actually start. Yeah, buy 2, get 1 free. No, is that right? I don't know. I got for $30, I got 4 skeins. So I don't know what that makes it. I'm really bad at math in my head. So it's really, so it was a good deal for $30, and you'll end up with a really beautiful lap blanket that is so heavy and comforting. It's made of chenille, and it's just really like very jumbo, lush. It feels lush when you're working at it. And you can make blankets, or you can make pillows. I think we could just make a blanket and show you how, but I just have to wait until mine comes in. I did order it. So let's see. And there were some other things. Oh, so how long does it take? You can do it in a couple of hours. We'll start. I think what we'll do is we'll start it at one of it, and I'll go, hi, Susan. I'll start it, and I'll show you how to go along with it, and then I'll show you how to bind it off at the end. And so we won't be able to put them all together the entire thing together, but I will be able to show you how to start it and keep it going and then bind it off. And it's really just so adorable. I was really taken. Oh, you have made them. Awesome. So we have some people that have made them. So that will be kind of a trip. And it's not Cricut related, but you could always put a little hang tag on it that you made from Cricut if you want to give it as a gift. The other thing is that I was playing around, and if you are a patron on my Patreon, I wanted to let you know that I did post a free file of all sparkle stickers. It was like a whole sparkle sticker file that you could use your printer to print, then cut. However, I made an error, so I'm going to go back. I think it was Debbie Mackey, who told me that she couldn't get access to the file. I made an error there and used some outside images, so I'm going to fix that and get it to you. Get it back to you probably the end of the day today. So if you are a patron and you wanted to pick up that free file, then you just give me a minute and I'll repost it. So I've been getting some really awesome viewer mail, and I do so apologize because I actually got a few packages in the mail, and I wanted to show you all. I got one beautiful package from Matthew. I got something from Tina Rideout, who's in Maine. And then also Eileen, who's in Jupiter, Florida, Eileen Rumsbacher, sent me this. She ordered 2 of these. It's a Cricut infusible ink pens. It's for the Maker or the Explorer. And how many are in here? 15 pens. It's nice. It's a 15 pen set, and it's the small tip, 0.4 tip. So she actually ordered accidentally 2 of these, and she said she'd sent them to me to maybe add them to a giveaway. So we will be giving this away probably on Saturday night. Jupiter is beautiful. I've actually been to Jupiter, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And the turtles, beautiful, beautiful. And Eileen is terrific. Remember Eileen? She's the one that does the painting, or she started off painting. So she's really into, So, and these are infusible ink pens. So that will be, if you've never won these, we'll figure out a way to do the giveaway. But while we're talking about giveaways, thank you, Eileen. While we're talking about giveaways, remember that we have our joy giveaway, and I want to encourage you, everyone, to go and enter your name every day. It started Saturday, but so it's not too late to put your name in, and each day, if you do put your name in each day, and before you put your name in, if you could go watch, comment, or share any one video, it doesn't matter, maybe your favorite one from the YouTube channel, so that we can increase our viewership. And so then you can get your name in there, and you can do that for up to 14 days, because the giveaway ends next Friday. I think it's technically Saturday, next Saturday. So that would be the 22nd. So you'll have 2 weeks to do that. And so it will put in a chance for you in the raffle copter. You do have to follow the link, and you have to put your name and email address in there so that I can reach you if you win. And this is our giveaway for the month of May. It's a bundle of joy. It's a joy machine, brand new, so cute, and a whole bunch of extras that will help you just sort of take everything out of the box and get started right away. And there'll be like a little bit of everything: smart materials and insert cards and a card mat and pens. I don't know what all is going to be in there, but I work with my friend Brittany over at Cricut, and we put something together for the winner. And then in addition, we will continue to have 5 winners during the month, and each winner will receive $50 worth of Cricut product. And we already have 2 that we picked, Matthew and Melissa, I think. On Friday night, we picked them for Matthew's gorgeous Eiffel Tower and Melissa's absolutely beautiful floral shadow box. So those were the 2 projects that won. If you want to see any of those prizes and you didn't see them, not prizes, you want to see those projects, they have shared them, I believe, to our Facebook group. And I will try to, if you're not watching from Facebook, I'll try to somehow share the images somewhere, either on Instagram or YouTube or something like that. Okay, so that was our giveaway. And and by the way, we still have several giveaways to do for the month. I will reserve one for my Patreon followers, and then the others I'll choose based on, I don't know what I'll do based on, but if you want to just be in the running for the Joy giveaway, just go ahead and follow the link. I'll make sure the link is in the description of the video. Okay, so that's kind of all our business news for today. Let's get started. As I mentioned at the top, I don't have a project specifically for you today, but I do have something I want to show you. It's called heat embossing. It is when you use a stamp, or you can use a pen, a special pen, where you're using a kind of ink called pigment ink. And I'm going to show you the 2 pigment inks that I have. And you use something called embossing powder. I'll show you what I have got. A stamp, or as I said, a pen, and a heat embossing gun. Now, this is sort of a precursor to working with embossing folders, which we talked a little bit about on Friday night. So it's just a new technique that we're going to incorporate into our cards. So it's not necessarily Cricut specific, but it's going to give you, ideas and creativity sort of in getting your brain flowing in terms of some ideas to do cards with or other projects. So let me move you down so you can see. Yes, you can dig up your embossing powder and stuff. So let me just show you what this is all about. So these are embossing powders. They're very small jars, and you might think, gee, that's not really a whole lot, but actually a little goes a long way with this. And this was part of a set that I just bought. It has gold, black, silver. Where's the silver? It has like a clear sparkle, and white, I believe. Here's the white. So these are embossing powders. So they're very thin, like tiny, tiny grain, just so you can kind of see that it's a very, very little, just grains of I don't know, it's a powder, and you're going to get it to stick onto your paper using this. This is called some people call this a watermark pad. I call it an embossing ink pad. And this one here's from Ranger, and this one here's from Versamark. Both work fine. What you got here is, you might open it up and see that it's kind of clear, and you think, wait, there's no ink on here. But actually there's a sponge. You see that sponge? And it is impregnated with pigment ink. Pigment ink is not fast drying, and it takes the embossing powder, and you're able to adhere the embossing powder on it and then use a heat gun. So I'll show you how this works, and then we can talk about different techniques that we can do. So to do this, you either are going to need a stamp, or if you want, you can buy an embossing pen. So you're going to need something to either write with or use a stamp with. You're going to need some pigment ink, and you're going to need some type of embossing powder. There are all kinds out there, okay? And you are going to want to look for it to say embossing powder, okay? There's all kinds. I think Michael's is having a sale right now where it's like you buy one, you get one for half off. They seem to be very fond of that kind of a sale. So you might be able to pick something up there. And then you're going to need a heating tool. Now, some people have used hair dryers, but I really favor these things because it's very concentrated heat. It can get very, very hot, but it's basically just a little heat gun. That's what it's called. You can pick these up for less than $20 usually, and it's just like a hair dryer, but it's really concentrated. And what we're going to do is we're going to stamp using the pigment ink. Then we're going to dust it with the powder, shake off the extra, and then we're going to melt that powder onto our paper, okay? Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So we'll try it with, let's say, I think I did some with these paw marks, so you can see. Now, when you're done, is this different? Yes, it's very different from the embossing tool, and so we'll kind of talk about that in a second, okay? So when you do this, you're just going to take your ink pad. Now, I know it's clear, so it might be a little bit hard to get at first, but here's the embossing pad. You see, it looks clear. It looks like there's nothing on there, but when you squish it on there, you can kind of see on the back of your stamp. My stamp's a little black from something else, but you can see on the back of your stamp, it's like kind of shiny. See that? And then when you press it down, you can kind of see the outline. Can you see that outline a little bit? All right, and so let's take, for this one, let's take this black embossing, and we're going to just pour this over the stamp area, and any extra we're going to sort of just shake off. We don't need all of that, but we needed that to cover it, so we'll just shake it off like here. Now, sometimes you will get a little bit of this going on where some of this embossing powder sticks, and so I would recommend using, there is like a static free bag that they sell, or you can also use a brush, just like an artist brush that's not wet, is dry, or you can do what I'm doing here and sort of flick it off like this, okay? So there it is. Now you have to, the ink is still wet and the embossing powder is on there. So let us, I want to be neat about this. So let us put the leftover embossing powder, and actually I think I flicked off a little bit on the top there, so let me just put a little bit on there, and we'll put this back in here. Now, this is not a neat craft, but you will get better at it as you go along, and so work on, you know, like with papers or whatever. It's a little bit different than working with the Cricut, and it is a trial and error thing. So here we go. There is our paw print. I'm just putting the embossing powder back into the jar as best I can. I'm going to put the cover on it too because I don't want it to spill all over the place. It's a bit like glitter. Once it gets out, it's all over the place. Then we take the heat tool, and it's just got one button on here, so we turn it on, and you see it sounds a little bit like a hair dryer. Now it gets pretty hot, so you're going to want to keep it moving around where you embossed, You can also emboss from the bottom. So we're just applying some heat, and you'll see that it sort of melts, and you can see it sort of changing colors a little bit. And it's all done when all of those embossing beads or powders, pieces of powder, is done. And this actually is done. You can, by the way, you can emboss from the bottom. You can come around here, all different, okay? And here is the emboss. Now, once it's heated up and sort of melted on, you can see that it's very shiny. Does that make sense? It's very shiny, and it's dry. So there you go. And now I was thinking about what we could do with this sort of thing. And I thought, first of all, this would be great for the inside of cards. So if you were making a card on your Cricut and then you didn't want to do the sentiment using the machine, you could do something like this, for instance, just because, or even on the top of your cards. So these are more like embellishments that you would think of. That's the way I thought of that. This is a different kind of stamp. So when I was coming up with crafting, everything was all about this wooden stamp, and they were expensive. And they were actually, I went to San Francisco and purchased from San Francisco, sort of like the origin of the rubber stamp. And they had all kinds, this is basically, I think, in the 90s. So they had all kinds of people who did rubber stamp creation, and as you can see, it's pretty amazing. Some of them were done by hand, and then I think they moved to computer graphics from there. But you'll see this is sort of the old school stamping. I have so many of these, and so I have to dig them out. I dug out a few, but this is from a company called, I think it's called PSX, which they're no longer in business, called Personal Stamp Exchange. And they're from Petaluma, California. And I got this. This is at least 25 years old. And then you can also find, these are sort of cheapo wooden stamps that they're mounted on wood, and you can see they have like sort of a soft squishy thing going here, and that's so when you stamp it, the entire surface is stamped. Okay, so here are a couple others. And this one, I don't even think it's been used. So you can buy all these stamps. However, this can get really expensive. And so somewhere along the way, maybe 10, 15 years ago, people switched to these stamps, which are, basically they're plastic. I don't know what they're actually made of, and you can buy a whole set of these for the cost of maybe one of these. And so what you would do is you peel these off here, just like this. I don't know if it's going to peel off so easily for me. Doesn't seem to be. Well, I'm not getting the peel off. So I guess what we might need to do is cut it out. Oh, that one's peeling off. All right, so hold on. So, no, that one's just not, it's not peeling off the way that I want to. So let's cut it, and we'll do this thank you one. Okay? So, this one's not mounted, although you can buy like little acrylic blocks and mount them on the acrylic blocks, take them off, and that's what you were supposed to do, be able to do for this, but I'm not finding it super easy to remove. So let's go ahead and do a gold version of this thank you, so you can see, and you see I'm pressing on the stamp like this. Now, if I had an acrylic block, I'd probably attach it to the acrylic block, but I don't have one. So this is what I'm doing. So when I take it off, I just want to make sure that I got that ink, that sort of clear ink everywhere on this stamp because that's important. And then we're going to find a space on our page and press it down here like this. Okay? And I can see it barely, but it's there. So I'm going to take my gold embossing powder and I'm going to just drop a little bit over that place where the image is. Try not to use a whole lot. And then you can take and shake off the extra like this. And I'm seeing that I didn't get it on here, up here. That's not good. So let's do that over there. All right. Now this is where that static thing comes in handy, or again, you can use your hands. You can use, just by doing this, or you can use a brush or your fingers like I'm doing. But see, this says thank you in gold. And when we heat emboss, it's going to really look nice and golden, very golden. So let's go ahead and heat emboss that. Okay. And you want to keep it moving because you don't want to burn the paper underneath it or brown it. So you have to kind of keep it moving. But it's like popcorn. You know, you just like, you're putting the heat on it for a while and you don't see anything. And then all of a sudden it starts to happen. So here we go. Oh, okay. So this is working out. Although it's not really, the thank you isn't really working out for me as well as I'd like. All right. So let's try it with the pen. So there it is. Let's try it with the pen because then we get a little more of a different experience still using embossing powders. So here are the pens. This one's called Perfect Pen. I got 2 of them. And there's one that's a bullet and one that's a brush tip. Also by Ranger. And so let's take them out of this. And we'll just write something. What is it that Emmy calls us? Cricket Chat Crafters. So let's write with our pen. Cricket Chat Crafters. I know you can't see it. It's kind of like an invisible ink. So we will take the silver, if I can get the silver open, and make sure we get that embossing powder all over where I wrote. Okay. And it really is on there very, very good. And you can see, well, look at that. Let me just make sure I get over here to this S because it doesn't look like it has enough silver powder on there. Let's do this. I'm going to make sure that S is really well covered. Okay. There we go. And again, if I had my static thing, I would show you that, but it was in the box yesterday and now it's not in the box. So don't know what happened to it, but here you go. So you see that it's still kind of, the wetness of the ink has grabbed this powder. And there are still some like little extra left. So want to just kind of either flick it off or use that thing or use a brush or something like that. So you won't have those extra embossing beads or whatever there. But you still need to heat emboss. So here you go. And this is the silver one. It's actually coming out better than the stamps. Ah, look at how pretty. And like I said, you want to keep it moving around, but you want to make sure you get the whole image or whatever it is you wrote or stamped, because you don't want, you know, the embossing little beads or whatever they're called, the embossing powder, to fall off. And that's why you do the heat part. Now, there is a point in which when you heat it, it kind of gets sort of sort of dimply, and then it turns a little bit more like flat. So you want to kind of keep an eye out for that. And you can, as I said, you can like sort of burn this paper that it's on, but not really the powder. But you see that? How cool is that? So that is heat embossing. And this embossing powder comes in a lot of colors, or at least it used to. I used to have all different colors, but the main ones that you might want to get are gold, silver, the black, and this clear gloss is really actually kind of interesting, because when you do this, you would actually stamp with a colored pigment. So I want to talk about pigment ink versus dye ink. So this is brand new product from Ranger ink. It's called Simon Hurley Create. It's a dye ink pad. It's very similar to a dye ink pad that you can buy at Michael's. There are even the distress ink pads. So there are all different kinds of ink pads out there. This is not going to work with the embossing powders, because this kind of ink, it's called a pigment ink. It's almost like thick. This is more just a regular dye ink. So just to kind of show you how this would work, we would just tap this on there, make sure, if we have to, we can sort of squish it down, make sure we got all our ink on there. But you can almost kind of see that it's a little bit different than the ink that we put on, even though it's not clear like the other one. And then we would do this. But if we tried to, this is almost already dry. If we tried to put that powder on there, it just wouldn't work out. Okay. One thing you want to avoid is using a permanent ink on your a permanent ink. Alcohol is a permanent ink. So if you have some stamps, you want to avoid using them, because you wouldn't be able to clean this. You can clean this off very easily with like a wet cloth, and just like, it's good to have like a piece of paper towel, and then you can just kind of just wet it and then sort of rub it on the towel, and then we'll get rid of that coloring. But some, you know, stamps will continue to have some coloring here, even if you do clean it. And you don't have to clean them, but it's nice to do that. So, so this is a dye ink pad, and this is a embossing ink or pigment ink. So there are a number of pigment inks on the market. The one that I've used the most is called Color Box, and they do sell that at Michael's. So Color Box has, as the name suggests, colored pigment ink. And so what you would do is use the color, whether it's, I don't know, black or even red, green, yellow, whatever. And you would use that black ink, and you would use the clear gloss over it. So if you're somebody who likes to do a lot of pens, likes to do a lot of coloring, so for this one here, this would look really cute because it would be outlined in that black ink. And then by putting the embossing powder over it, it would sort of seal the ink. So when you came by with your pen and you wanted to color in the teddy bear, it won't smudge. Okay, and that's kind of a cool thing about the embossing powders. This possibly could smudge if water got on it, but this is not going to smudge. This is very permanent, and it's stuck on there. Now, do you need this for Cricut? No. But you also don't need emboss at all for Cricut. You can just do your cutting out. Let's talk a little bit about Cricut embossing. It's not really embossing. It's called debossing. So with Cricut, you're going to use your machine, and it only works with the maker, but you're going to use your machine for debossing. And you take and remove. So you have this adjustable tool. You see that? And I have right on here, this one here is actually a perforation wheel. And I'm going to go to the bottom of my egg here and find my deboss tip. Okay, so this is my deboss tip. And I don't know if you can see it because it's really small. But it's like a little circle inside. And it's doesn't stick out that much. And I'll just show you this one here, the one that looks really pointy, is the engraving tip. And we'll go over that in a little, in another time. But this is engraving tip. So that's good for metals like tinfoil, and also acrylics. And we've done acrylic ornaments before with this. So this is a very precise engraving tool, but this is the deboss. And so what we do is we take off from the adjustable tool, and we press down and put on this one, and this is deboss. Now, what it's going to do is, instead of a raised appearance, which is what this is, see, it's raised, it's actually going to indent into the paper, whatever your design is. So that's why it's called deboss instead of emboss. And so this is emboss, this is deboss, okay? The other thing that we can try is to do embossing folders. So I just kind of want to give you sort of a whole, outlook of what's out there. So this is heat embossing. There is deboss with your maker. And then the third kind is called emboss folders or embossing folders. These need to go through a machine that's called a die cut machine, and that's something that Cricut used to sell. It was called a Cuttlebug, and I believe it was Kathy that showed us her Cuttlebug on Friday night on the Zoom call. It kind of looks like a purse, even had a handle on the top, and then the sides would come out, and you would take and make kind of a sandwich, and you would roll it through, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And you would have either a die cut in there, and it was basically like a precursor to a Cricut machine. But then they came up with embossing folders, which were not a cutout, but rather was kind of all of these indentations, and you'd put your paper inside of there and you would roll it through. So just so there's 3 different kinds of embossing. And I'm going to throw deboss in there as part of the kind of embossing, even though it's sort of different. So you've got the heat emboss, you've got the Cricut deboss, and then you have an embossing folder that's used on a die cut machine, which I will show you later on in the week. Okay. So that's what this is about. So if you have never worked with this kind of thing and you are interested, if you want to do it, what I would recommend is you get one stamp pad, whether it's get this Versamark, or you can get Ranger. There are others too, but these are things that that I would recommend, these type. Or you can also just buy the pens. Do not buy or try to use a dye ink pad. It will not work, okay? So if you wanted to get out of this cheap, but you wanted to try it, you could do a pen or a pad and maybe one color embossing powder, but you will still need this heat emboss tool. Now, this heat emboss tool actually comes in handy for a number of things. So if you like to paint, it helps to dry paint, and it helps to even just dry regular ink. So it might be something you want to add to your collection. Does this take the place of cricketing? No, but I think it's a complementary thing where you can do this either on your cards, or as I'll show you with the embossing folders, you can actually combine the heat emboss with the embossing folders and create a really unique thing that will then be cut out on your Cricut. So yes, you probably could dry your nail polish too. So this is, this is just another foray. It may not be for you, but I wanted to show you all how this works, and we will try to incorporate it. Into some other crafts going forward. And by the way, if you don't have the heat tool, some other people are saying, you can also put it in the toaster oven. I've seen people do that with the toaster oven or their oven itself, but it's the heat that causes that to sort of melt and become like more of it will not fade, or it won't smear. So you do need some sort of heat tool, whether it's a heat tool that's a heat gun, or some sort of like toaster oven or something that you can heat it with. So that is sort of what it's about for embossing. Let me move on to, I did receive a couple of really beautiful gifts that I want to show you. And the first one is from Tina, and I heard that, I think it's Guadalupe's, she said she sent something too. So as soon as I get that, I will show you all. So, here we go. So let's see. So Tina sent me something. Tina's from Maine. And she sent a beautiful card and a box. I'm going to go up a little bit higher. And a box, and look at what I got. I guess you guys saw me using my tape dispenser with my heat tape, my heat resistant tape. That we use for the mug. So she got me a beautiful mint green desktop tape dispenser, so I can put that in there, and a beautiful card. It says thanks, just a little something for you to make your crafting convenient and fun. Thank you for teaching so many beautiful crafts using the Cricut. P.S. Happy belated birthday, Cricut chat friend Tina. She did that all on the machine. Isn't that beautiful? Yes, but you know what, Perlita, it's okay, because I'll put regular tape in one and I'll use the heat resistant tape in the other. Toaster oven, Shirley. So if you wanted to try this out by the way, we're kind of going back to the embossing. So if you want to try this out on the cheap, just get one little jar of this, and they're like $5 or $6 for a little jar like this, and maybe a pen, and then you can toast it in the toaster oven. Yes, you can do that, and I'll be able to show you that. Maybe I can show you that later on, but I just really like this heat tool. So thank you so much, Tina, and Perlita, thank you too, and I will have 2 different kinds of tape dispensers. You'll see it on my desk. The next up is from Matthew, and it is quite a gift. There was actually several gifts Some for Owen, some for the dog, some for me. So here, this is from Owen, and I'm going to open it for him. So look at how cute Matthew did all of this. Look at this box. Beautiful. And this box for Teddy Bear and Benji. So let's see what's in here, Matthew. And thank you so much. I'm sorry I didn't get to it sooner. He did send it a few days ago. So this is for Owen. Oh, look at that. Oh, how cool is that? It is one of those Dutch shoes with his name on it. How cool is that? I wonder, Matthew, if he's on today. I hope he's on today. Did he buy this or make it? I wonder. Okay, so thank you so much. I'm going to obviously keep all the tags. And let's see what we got. So Teddy Bear and Benji have, oh, look at this. Homemade dog treats for Teddy Bear and Benji. And yeah, homemade, and even put the ingredients on there in the shape of a bone. Wow. You are so clever, Matt, and they're going to love that. Thank you so much. And look, it says on there, Teddy Bear and Benji. So cool. And then this one's addressed to me. There were a couple of cards. And it says, one of the cards says, open this last. So we'll wait and open it. This one is from Tara K. Long. Ah, look at, there's one of those wonderful box cards. Thank you so much, Tara. Oh, it says, Dear Miss Rita, thank you for being an inspiration in life and in crafting. Thank you for encouraging us to do better. Your light brightens my day. Thank you for all you do and for all you teach us to do. Tara K. Long. Look at how great she did. This looks shiny. This looks really nice. Tara, excellent job there. And so let's open this. I guess it's, oh, so sweet. I can't remember when I had a nice, pretty box like this to open. It feels like a bug. Let's see. It's a mug box. It's not the mug box. Oh, so pretty. Now, I don't think that he did that in his mug press, but it is gorgeous. Oh, look at that. Hand-painted, Delft Poly in Holland, USA. Interesting. Matt, we're going to need to hear from you about where these originate from. Because, Matt, aren't you in Texas? I'm trying to remember. No, that's David. Oh, and I, look at, I got my own, Miss Rita. Oh, I love it. So cute. So we've got Owen, and now we have a pair. Where did it go? Here we go. He got the yellow, and I got the pink. So thoughtful. Thank you very much, Matt. And I'm going to, I have to keep this box. So awesome. There is one other thing. So, and then I'll open the cards because it said open it last. So this one is for both of us, Miss Rita and Owen. And let's open it up. You guys are too kind to me. It's weird feeling. It feels like, it's candy. Ooh, look at that. Milk chocolate covered cherries, you guys. Life, Liberty, Beaches, and Pie. Cherry Republic. Michigan. So you're right. Now I'm confusing you, Matt. Matt lives in Michigan. So look at that. Okay, Teddy Bear, quiet down. That's wonderful. Milk chocolate covered cherries. Oh, so thoughtful. I appreciate it. Let me open the cards real quick. Teddy. And this is embossing, folks. You are so lovely. Isn't that beautiful? This is embossing. You see that? That's done with an He did. He outdid himself. He really did. So look at, he's got some print then cut roses. He did some really beautiful embossing. And then, thank you for all you do. He's grown so much as a crafter. I don't know. He probably was a pretty good crafter. It says that I remind him of his late mother, instilled in me early on a love of making and caring for others. You can do better. Yes. And I'm so glad that you're inspired. And that's the point of all of this, is to be inspired and to help others, because we're not on this planet alone, are we? So, and I'm going to open this one last as it's instructed. Boy, he really went all out. And there's a beautiful butterfly. And that looks like a joy cut card. Please enjoy all these small tokens of appreciation. These items were now we get the information. Okay. These items were handmade in our hometown of Holland, Michigan. So cool. The chocolate cherries are also a Michigan-based company. Matt Reed and Tara Long. There we go. There's our answer. I love it. Wonderful. So thank you so much to Eileen for the pens that we'll do a giveaway for Tina for the tape dispenser, and Matt for all of these lovely, look at this. It's so cute. And the name of the city is Holland. I just love it. What a great gift. Thank you so much. I know Matt is such a lovely friend, isn't he? And we're so glad to have him. So thank you very, very much for it. And I really appreciate the sentiment, especially. So that's going to do it for our show today. We will be back. I will be back tomorrow, a little more prepared, and we will do a Cricut craft. And I just, so inspiring. You guys inspire me to keep doing this and offer the best ideas out to you. So we'll do a Cricut craft this week. As I mentioned, we had a bit of a busy weekend, and so I didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare for today. So I hope you indulge me that I just didn't do a Cricut craft, but we will try to work some of these embossing techniques and also the embossing folders into the week, and we'll also be doing and I love you guys. Thank you, and happy crafting. And we'll have a great week, I'm sure. So take care of yourselves, and we'll see you all tomorrow. And have a wonderful day. I hope you get some crafting in. Take care. Bye.